Hey, good, what is it, lunchtime? How you guys doing today? This is Coach Bill with Fat Loss Made Easy. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Guys, I wanted to get on here and kind of give you an update of what I did yesterday on my fasting day. Those of you that follow Emily and I know that we do on Tuesdays, Thursdays, we do a 23-hour fast. We break our fast at the 23-hour mark with bone broth or a homemade kefir. And then about 45 minutes later, we'll have our good high fat, low carb meal. But yesterday, I thought I haven't done a prolonged fast in a long time. So yesterday, I decided to do a 36-hour fast. And you guys know that I like mixing things up. I don't like doing the same thing. I suggest the same thing to my clients to, uh, don't eat the same foods all the time, and mix up your fasting times also. Don't, you can have a platform that you really like that you found that works with you, but every so often you guys need to mix up your timing. That kind of throws the metabolism off and your body won't adapt to it. But I like mixing it up all the time because I just like to take glucose readings and see what happens at this point or at this time, or how does this type of exercise work 2 hours before I break my fast? Does it put me in deeper fat burning? I like to play around with this stuff all the time. So yesterday I decided to go ahead and do a 36-hour fast. What was encouraging about that is that I was able to go through that 23 hours with zero issues with any kind of cravings of carbs or sugars. I had zero hunger waves. Now, I do stay up with my water. I drink a gallon of water a day. I'm drinking hydrogen-rich water. I do stay consistent on my fasting days. I do at least 3 times a day my quarter teaspoon of sea salt. I do my apple cider vinegar first thing in the morning, like I do every morning, 7 days a week. I also do my when I'm fasting, like on the fasting days, I like doing 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with my water at noon, and then of course I have it at night before I go to bed at night, about an hour or two. So yesterday, I mean, at the 23-hour mark, I was thinking to myself, man, this was just really easy. Now, grant you, Emily and I have been fat adapted and ketone adapted for a long time now. Now, I'm going to do a video about fat adaptation versus ketone adapted because there's a difference between the two, and people seem to get them confused. They think that fat adaptation means you're ketone adapted. No, they're totally different, and I'll explain that in the next video that I'll be doing. But Emily and I are we're both fat adapted, and we're both ketone adapted. So it makes it a lot easier for us to do these longer fasts. Now, those of you that are just starting out, be patient because it'll get easier as you do it. If you stay consistent and you set a goal for 6 months to a year, it gets much, much easier. Well, what happened was that the 23-hour mark, I felt so good that I thought, you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and do a 36-hour fast, which means I would not eat until I woke up this morning at around 6 or 6:30, which is okay because today was shoulder day and leg day. And so that those extra calories will help me get through my leg day. But then I woke up by the way, last night, this is how crazy it is once you become fat adapted, how it's able to control the hormones that are designed to tell you you're hungry, especially though, how many of you out there have actually sat by a TV, you haven't eaten for 3 or 4 hours, and then all of a sudden you see a commercial come on when they're talking about food, and man, it really looks good, and your stomach starts to make noises and gargle, and all of a sudden that hormone that is designed to send a signal to your brain that you're hungry is activated just by watching TV. That happens a lot. Well, once you become really fat adapted and ketone adapted, that doesn't affect you anymore. A good example is last night at my men's Bible study. When I got there, now I was probably 24, I think 25 hours in my fasting, and I mean a true fast. That means 0 calories. All I had was water and black coffee all day. When I got there, you walk through the door, and the first thing I would smell was the meal that they had prepared for us men. And when I got there was one of my favorite dishes, which was a barbecued ribs with cornbread and all that stuff. But I was standing there, watching all these men eating. I had no issues at all with any kind of craving. I had no issues at all with wanting to eat it. Um, Nothing happened, and I'm standing there thinking, God, I don't have this is really bizarre how all this works out, how it plays out. Like I said, we've been doing this for a long time, so we're very well fat adapted, and we have the hormones that can sabotage your fasting under control, and we have the primary hormone that causes fat gain under control. And so that's why we have no issue. See, the bottom line is, guys, the food does not run our lives anymore. If I felt like eating at 12 or at 6 o'clock this morning, I would have ate. But when I woke up, I still didn't have an appetite. I was not hungry at all. And at my 36 mark, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and push it to 42 hours, and I'm going to work out in a fasted state at about 20 hours. Well, this morning, about 8 o'clock, I woke up at 5. This morning at 8 o'clock, I decided to take my blood glucose level to see where it's at. Now, for those of you that are concerned about blood sugar dropping because you're not eating for so many hours, if you're not fat adapted, or if you're not ketone adapted, or if you haven't been on a high fat, low carb diet for a month or two, then most likely, yes, your blood sugar will most likely drop, especially if you try to exercise. But those of us that are starting out or into it for 3 or 4 weeks, our body is just starting to learn how to burn fat, and the glucose is no longer its primary fuel, and that's the whole object of what we're doing here. But I took my blood glucose reading, and this is for those of you that think that I shouldn't have any sugar in my blood at all. And my blood glucose reading after 36, 37, 38 hours, like I said, I had no calories at all, so there was 0 carbs. I hadn't eaten any carbs at all, and we all know carbs are converted into glucose, and glucose is sugar, and the liver then dumps that into your blood to use as energy. I didn't have any, I hadn't eaten anything, so how could I have any glucose in my blood? I can't, technically, right? Well, guess what? I measured my glucose reading this morning, and it was 84. Now, normally when I do a 23-hour fast, and when I do our cardio 2 hours before we break our fast on our fasting days, because we like to jump into fat adaptation even deeper. It seems that doing a cardio 2 hours before you break your fast, you're using up most all of your glucose in your blood, and your glucose readings will be a lot lower, which is putting us into autophagy much deeper, and our ketones are a little bit higher. But this morning, it was 84, which is pretty high. My normal blood glucose after a 23-hour fast is in the mid-60s. Emily's is around 59 to 61. Well, those of you that follow me know that when you wake up in the morning, your glucose is most likely going to always be higher. That's just how the body works. It's working efficiently. It's working the way it's designed to work because it's getting you ready to start the day off, and you need the energy in order to do that. So the body is going to take whatever glucose or glycogen you have stored in your muscles, it's going to pull it out of your muscles, dump it in your liver, convert it into glucose, and then dump it in your blood for energy. That's just how it goes. So you have to wait 2 to 3 hours after you wake up before you take your blood glucose level if you want to see what your readings are. Anyway, so at 38 hours, my blood glucose was at 85. So I had plenty of glucose in my blood. Now, does that mean that I got kicked out of ketosis? Absolutely not. I was deep in ketosis or deep into autophagy. I was super deep in fat burning because I hadn't eaten anything for 38 hours. You know, it kind of makes sense. You don't eat anything for that long. Where's your body going to get the fuel from? Not just from the glucose that's stored in your muscles, but it's going to be jumping into whatever body fat you have, and it's going to be pulling that out. Now, I could have easily not had very much glycogen stored in my muscles, because the body, if it can't find the glycogen or the glucose, guess where it goes? It goes deep into your own stored fat, pulls the fat out, dumps it in the liver, and converts that to glucose. So that's what I'm thinking is happening to me, because I don't have a whole lot of body fat left on me. So I do have some. There's more I want to get off, but in my opinion, my body said, "Hey, wait, there's no more. You don't have very much glycogen stored in your muscle, and what you do have stored, we got to save that for the brain. The brain needs glucose to operate. We can't go into there and grab that glycogen because there's not enough there for the brain if we do it. So then the body's going to jump into what? Your own stored fat converted into glucose. It can also convert any protein you have floating around into glucose. That's how unbelievable the body is. So then Emily and I went to the gym. So we worked out at the 40-hour mark is where I worked out. Yeah, we did our interval strength training. I didn't do any cardio today, but I did my interval strength training. Plenty of energy to go through it. Completely finished it out. Actually, I felt so good that I actually did some extra sets and extra reps. Now, those of you that follow me, being that deep into my fasting, why do you think I felt so good? Why do you think my energy level was so high? Well, because if you follow me, that when you're that deep in autophagy, what does autophagy do? It elevates, accelerates growth hormones. That is your muscle building hormone. So my growth hormones were sky high as I was exercising, so I was able to train just as hard if I wasn't fasting. And my recovery, walking out of the gym, totally recovered, just like I normally do. Okay? Well, then I decided that, I'm going to come home. I think there was about an hour lag between my working out and getting home. So I decided to do my glucose reading when I got home. Now, those of you follow me, when you do strength training, do you remember what happens to your glucose? Well, I took my glucose reading. I'm 42 hours, almost 43 hours in my fasting. 0 calories, nothing. My glucose level was at what? It was at 94, 10 points higher than when I left to go to the gym. Why is that? Because I was putting my body under stress, and it needed the energy from somewhere to keep moving. And guess where it got it from? Most likely from my own stored body fat that it converted into glucose. And that's exactly what the body is designed to do. And that's exactly what the body is supposed to do. And that's exactly how our ancestors survived on feast and famine. So my body is operating the exact same way as our ancestors did. And this is how the body was designed. It was not designed to operate on glucose, period. That's not what it was designed for. It's designed to operate on fats. Science has been telling us for decades. You change your primary fuel source to fat, it's known as rocket fuel. That's why so many people are saying they have so much more energy. Why do you think my energy level is so high on a deep fasting day when I'm training hard? Because I have rocket fuel going through my veins. Okay? So that just explains that when you become fat adapted and you become ketone adapted, your body is in a state probably in the most healthiest state it's ever been in, and it's utilizing all that energy efficiently the way it's supposed to. And that's how powerful ketones are, or being fat adapted is. And the only, now, if I would have had any kind of calories at all during that 42, well, actually, I went 43 hours. If I had any calories at all, that would have knocked me out of autophagy. Just that quick. Calories will knock you out. Well, I wanted the full benefits of it, and I wasn't hungry. I wasn't craving anything. So guys, that just shows the power of being on a high fat, low carb diet and doing alternate day, combining it with alternate day fasting, because you're not doing anything different that your body doesn't know about. You're actually doing something your body was designed to do anyway. But most all of you who are on high carb meals and eating frequently throughout the day, 7 days a week, you are causing issues long term, and it will affect you long term. Okay, so I hope you guys saw this kind of. I thought it was interesting to do, and it's just some fun stuff I like to do every so often, just to see how efficient my body is working. And apparently it's working really good. So what we are doing is working very well for us. Okay, so hey, you guys, if you guys, you can go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it. There's other health videos on there. You can also go to my YouTube channel or my group page, Fat Loss Made Easy, and join that group page. I got some great fat burning recipes in there. For the first timers that join it, there's a gift there for you guys. It's all about education, so that's the gift. I think it's called the 3 hormones that cause you to gain weight. So once you're educated and you understand the root cause of belly fat or hip fat or whatever fat, or you just having a hard time losing that last 10 pounds, if you knew the root cause, then you can fix it. It really is that simple. But because most people don't explain the root cause, most people do not know. Okay, guys? So, guys, I hope to see you at the next video. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.